Most of us would agree that character is important, but we might struggle to define it. Webster defines character as moral excellence and firmness. By moral, we mean clear principles of right and wrong. By firmness, we mean not weak or uncertain, but steadfast. Character is a foundation upon which all of life, ministry, and spiritual growth is built. As a disciple of Jesus, our character is much more influential than our words and our actions. The people who are closest to us can see through our words, they can see through our actions. It's our natural tendency to try to manipulate other people's thoughts about us by carefully choosing our words or by making sure we do the right things when people are watching. But if all that is not based on character that is being constantly molded and growing and becoming more like Christ, then all of our words and actions have a weak foundation. Our character is the strong foundation upon which our entire life is built. Our character is who we really are, inside and outside. Remember that a disciple of Jesus is growing and wanting to change his thoughts, actions, and behaviors to be more like Jesus. Our character is really based on our understanding of God and His work in our lives. It's who we are. It's being not just doing. It's having a tendency. We have a tendency as humans to look at our lives and define ourselves by what we do. John's an engineer, Mike's a carpenter, Tom is a plumber. We often define ourselves by the major activities that we undertake in life. But it is our character that truly defines us. It is our character that determines the value of our actions. Our character gives our lives worth and leads to actions that will hold up to the scrutiny of the refiner's fire. The results of poor character can be seen all around us. Lawsuits against architects, engineers, mechanics, and even doctors who don't have the character to do their job with integrity are common. Some use cheap materials and build an inferior product. Others skimp on the details, and the result reveals a lack of character. So are they really engineers, mechanics, doctors? Their job description says that they are, but the way that they do their work reveals that they have a weak foundation. God is so concerned about our character because without that proper foundation, all of our actions are suspect. God is our righteous judge. He does more than evaluate the results of our actions. He also judges our motivations. Many people will one day stand before Him as He reveals the heart behind their lives, and they will hear God say, "Depart from me, because I never knew you." Your actions won't buy your way in. God is looking at our heart, our character, who we really are inside, and what we truly believe. Our actions eventually will reveal who we really are. A carpenter can build a house, but are they a good carpenter? Do they build with integrity? Are they honest? You can go and look at the details, and you can easily see the difference between the work of a man who has integrity and the one who's just out to make a profit. Inferior products use inferior components, searching for a little higher profit margin, even though the product won't last as long. Or a man of integrity will go above and beyond, putting in the details that weren't asked for because they want to do the job right. A man of character does what is right. As we serve and seek to glorify God in our actions, we will do what is right. Sometimes we only live the Christian life well enough that a passing glance will say, "Well, that guy's a Christian, he goes to church." Our actions say something about us, but God looks at the details. When people who really know us look at the details, the truth is revealed. God knows our hearts. Why do you go to church? Do you go to praise and honor the true and living God, or do you go because it's what's expected? It's Sunday, it's just what I'm supposed to do. People are watching. When you put money in the offering plate, do you roll up a couple of ones to make it look like a wad and stick it in there because people are watching? Or do we give above and beyond because we want to worship the God who has given us so much? Character is important. It's important because it is that strong foundation. It's also one of the hardest things to work on because it's only visible through our actions and our words, and we can disguise those. We have to examine our motivations. You have to be self-aware to examine your character. People around us only see our actions and hear our words. Actions can be masked and we can lie. We can put these things up and hide the truth of a weak character. It's not easy for someone who doesn't know us very well to judge our character. It also seems hard for us to work on our own character. We often don't know how to work on our character. It's not talked about as much as our actions. Do the right thing. A lot of what we talk about in Christian circles in church to our kids is about changing our behavior, to change our actions. We know we should change our behavior. We know we should act differently. We know we should change our thought processes. But we don't talk often enough about the real goal, which is biblical change toward Christ-likeness, spiritual maturity, change in our character. Because we desire to be like Jesus, our motivation for living is changing. We start to desire different things. We become a different person. Who we are changes, and based on that character change, our actions and our words change. But sometimes we look at the actions first, the words first, and then kind of hope that the character's there if the actions are right. If we are individually seeking to become more like Jesus, wholeheartedly pursuing Christ's likeness and the spiritual growth that we need, we will evaluate not only our actions, but our character. How often are you tempted to lie about something when you think no one else will know? How often are you tempted to make yourself look better than you really are? Instead of being open and honest and vulnerable in front of the Christians around us, sharing our weaknesses and our flaws, desiring their encouragement and help to grow, we often cover up the bad stuff and hope no one notices. I think it's more often than any of us want to admit. But as we grow, we should really want to change our character. We should want to be more open, more honest, more vulnerable, because that's how we change. We should want to change at the very core of our being, to change who we really are, to really be more like Christ, not just act a little better. At the very core, the fiber of our being, to be like Jesus. To be changed and to be changing, to have the character of Christ. If you truly desire heart change, you will evaluate your life on a whole new level. My prayer is that you long to see real heart change and to develop a foundation for life and ministry that has eternal impact. Until next time, run with horses.